Hey, what's up?
Well, since I'm like, what happened?
I was trying to find the video for Family Spirit. I don't see it, but Gwen, as you know, had surgery.
Yeah.
So, where she's taking the day off right now, she's got a lot going on and doctor's appointments continued. But tonight we have a very special guest. It's going to be a lot of fun because he has a business in your favorite town.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, he does tour guides in Gettysburg, one of the best haunted locations in America, and we get to go there in July.
Yes.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun. Uh, and I want to ask him about some certain places that
It's
I
going to be
know up
so
there.
much fun, and I've got
Yeah.
lots of res. All right, we're going to bring Andy on. Here we go. Here we are.
What's up,
Hey,
Andy?
Andy.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hey,
Good.
what's up, big man?
I'm trying to get moved around here.
Dude, I know it's trying to get
I'm so
comfortable in
glad
his
to
chair.
have
It's like,
you.
come on.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, my
after the
sofa is
weekend.
eating me. I'm going down in it. Oh my goodness. Well,
There's
welcome to
Vic.
Family Spirit International. This is going to be a good
Well,
show.
thank you for
We've been
having
doing
me.
this now 14 seasons.
Lee,
Wow,
try
I'm
nice.
so happy to
16
have you.
season.
Yeah.
So that's
Um,
kind of cool
Lee,
because the
16 season.
company
oh,
that
the
I work for,
16.
16.
no, I was gonna say the company Ghost City Tours I work for, they 14 years, couple last week, something like that.
Right
Yeah.
on, man.
Very cool. Well, the name of your tour company, uh, I know you want to go to Gettysburg, Res. You got to. This is the guy to know. This is Andy, and he
Come
knows
on.
all the ins and outs. You need to watch all of the show because Blaine has investigated that place every grain of sand. Okay, he knows
Yes, go ahead.
everything. Plus, he's got a degree in history. So I'm just buckled up. This buttercup is buckled up because I got two guys here that's going to tell me about this wonderful place. I want to tell you guys about what happened to me just really quick. I was filming there for Repossessed, and I was waiting for my turn, so it was in between, and I was trying to stay warmed up because you have to kind of do that. And a PA was with me, and we were walking along, and I felt something tug me, and I thought, what's going on? Because I was going along saying, let me know where you are. I'm looking for you. I want to meet someone from here. And I started walking. I could just feel something pushing me or guiding me along. And I ended up by a creek, and there was a tombstone there. Had no, you couldn't see it from where I was. It just couldn't see it. And he died at 19. And it just really made me emotional. A young man dying in the middle of a place like this, 19 years old. And I said, you barely got a chance to live. Well, he was moved by my concern and grief over him. And he started following me the rest of the day. I knew he was there, it didn't bother me at all. But when I got to the hotel room, I was thinking, okay, is he still here? And he was just real quiet. I couldn't tell he was anywhere near me as I changed clothes and took a shower, that kind of thing. And I said, I wonder, hey baby, I wonder if he's here. And I was about to drift off, and I was just thinking about him. I was just, in a way, summoning him. And all of a sudden, the covers that was on my, I'm a side sleeper, just pulled up over my shoulder like that. And I felt him sit down lightly on the bed, and he said, but in my time, I was a man. Because, a 19-year-old now is not a 19-year-old back then. He was such a gentleman.
Way
And
different.
yeah, and I had such a good time talking to him, and it was time to go. He said he needed to stay with the other soldiers. They were good friends. And, so when I go back, I want to try to talk to him.
So where was that at?
It was
Which
the
part?
Battlefield Inn. just down from the Eisenhower,
Mm-hmm.
not far from the old school. They've got
Yeah,
a runoff pond there now.
yeah, because they have they had a couple different gifted people go out to Sachs Bridge area,
Yeah, I
and
went out there too.
all of them were picking up on a couple days, I guess, prior to the battle. Some Confederates had made their way a little bit different route other than through Chambersburg, and had kind of stopped there at the creek to, just wait on orders. And they were kids, 18, 19-year-old kids. So they were being boys and jumping in and out of the water and stuff like that. And, little did they know what was about to happen. So their, superiors said, you guys are going to tell the enemy where we're at from 5 miles away, something to that point. I mean, get out of the water. And it was just crazy because when they were coming back that way in the retreat, a lot of them were put to rest right there. They didn't make it, or the surgeries that would be done right beside the creek or right up above it. There's a house that they used as a hospital. And they said about 50%, 60% of that regiment of those boys were, brought to that area. And it's just kind of weird that a place that they were told not to, horseplay, and look what happened. So, and there's a lot of that everywhere around Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Oh, everywhere. Now I got to ask you real quick, do they still have the outdoor classroom behind the elementary school?
Now,
It might be a middle school. I don't know.
Are you talking about the one that's up towards like Cemetery Hill?
Yeah, the one that's right on the battlefield. I know they have an outdoor classroom. At least they used to several years ago.
No, but they made that. They made that into. Now they have church up at one of those. Like, are you talking about what looks like an amphitheater?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now they use that.
Benches.
Now maybe they still do classes up there. I don't know, but I do know they do Sunday service there when it starts getting warm. Which is really cool.
They were doing that then too, and that was a great place to investigate because we
It's
always
still there.
had good stuff there. Okay, and you can still go back there. That's what I want to make sure of before we go up there.
Yep. You should be able to. Yep.
And another place I like, it's not Sachs Bridge. I think they actually called it Eisenhower Bridge.
It is. It's called.
I have got so much stuff there, more than I've ever got at Sachs.
Yeah, now they call that, it is Eisenhower Bridge is the proper name of it. But you'll hear Suicide Bridge. Everybody calls it.
Yes.
They all call it that. And I was speaking to a gentleman that's lived there for years. And I said, so why has there any suicide? Like, nobody can find that there was any kind of suicides ever on that bridge. But one weird thing they said would happen is dogs would freak out, jump off the bridge, all kinds of different things. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think that bridge is the things you pick up out there is a creation of what we have manifested out there. All the people thinking that there's some kind of, red-eyed, crazy thing out there. Now, what I have had happen to me out there is I've had some cryptid encounters, I'm pretty sure, out there.
Really?
Because I'm a Bigfoot guy,
Us too. Hey.
Right
look,
there.
Look, Andy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I got it on me right there.
Yeah.
That's so
mascot
cute.
for our other show, Cryptid Nation.
That's Sylvester.
Like this one?
Yep.
You guys are too cute.
Just keep on going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one up on the wall, one here. Yeah, but
we love Bigfoot stuff and cryptid stuff. But yeah, dude, those are two of my favorite places. Now, the coolest thing that ever had happen to me was at the train station. I got punched in the nose by a Union soldier and got dog cussed. Dude, this guy hit me so damn hard that my eyes watered, my nose actually bled, and I got 5 seasoned investigators around me goes, "What the hell just happened?" I said, "I just got punched by a Union soldier." And then I asked him, I said, "Why the hell did you punch me?"
Lord.
He said, "Because you're a damn Johnny Reb." I said, "Dude, I fought for the Americans. I was in the United States military. I didn't fight for the Confederates." Yeah. And you got a Southern accent. I was like, "You little bastard, you the damn nose."
So do I. Yeah, it's I get that from the ones that are alive up here giving me hell for having a Virginia accent. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
they'll get over it.
I just thought it was fun, dude. I call it a badge of honor. It's like, hell, I didn't die from it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, they you know, it's weird stuff that happens around here. You know, I mean, I've been coming here since I was a kid, and my parents used to bring us here. There used to be a place called Fantasyland that was here, which was a amusement park for kids, you know, and plus this was kind of a neutral place for my family to meet up, because I had family in like Pittsburgh area, I had family in Baltimore, you know, but we would camp. That's what we enjoyed doing. And then we would go to the Fantasyland one day, and then we would go to the park one day, and they couldn't keep me off the battlefield. They, you know, that's why I was up and ready to roll, you know, even at 4 or 5 years old, you know. And I'd had experiences because I grew up on Cedar Creek Battlefield.
Yeah,
literally. And in Virginia. And so I'd already had experiences at that age, seeing things, and was still, I guess, in my, what had happened was my grandmother's very gifted. She was used by, you know, FBI, local, and stuff like that for different things. So, you know, my dad was not accepting of that. I could have had something, you know.
Yeah.
So they sent me to a couple doctors, stuff like that. Well, there's nothing wrong with him, you know. And so they just kind of let it go. So I was kind of on my own, other than my grandmother, when we would sneak together to talk about, you know, what are you seeing? What do you know?
Yep.
And but I came to Gettysburg and was up on Little Round Top, and I have a cousin. She is just a couple months younger than I am. And so her and I were up on, you know, top of what we call the castle, you know, that's what she would call it. And we went up there. Well, the parents, they had taken walking away from us. They were all talking. So they didn't realize that we thought it'd be funny to stay on top, you know. That's what we did. And we could watch them walking all the way to the car. And what ended up happening was the old man got scolded by mom. You know what I'm saying? Where's the kids? And so he started coming back, and I told my cousin, I said, oh crap. I said, yeah, I could see his face. So her and I are like, you know, ducking down and like headed down the steps. And we get to the bottom of the steps, and she just kind of yelped. I don't even know how else to say it. And then I look up, and here's this complete Union, you know, I mean, he was dressed completely head to toe. I remember he had big black boots on, you know, the riding boots. They are now. He had a mustache, handlebar mustache, and he was twisting it and shaking his head, looking at us, like, you know. And I'm like, oh, you know, not thinking at the time. I just thought it was somebody dressed up because I'd seen him walking around town, you know.
Sure.
And my dad gets to the opening, and I see his eyes go real big, and then he kind of steps back, and he's like, you need to come now. That's all he said. And then we went out, and he went in and was looking, and he never brought it up until later on, in like years later. And he said, you know, I'm not going to say anything about, what did he say? I'm not going to say anything about you doing this ghost crap, because I remember that. And he asked me if I remembered, and I was like, yeah. But he didn't understand that was like normal for me. You know what I'm saying? Like just seeing, I mean, you know. And yes, that was my first Gettysburg haunting, ghost, whatever you want to say, you know, that I experienced.
I've had so many there, Andy. That's another one of my favorites. We were at the outdoor classroom and we heard shuffling. And all of a sudden, dude, this full Confederate cavalry soldier came out. You can see his boots. You can see his scabbard bouncing off his side. You can see his sidearm. No head.
Oh, God.
Full body apparition, no head.
Here we go.
He got his head blown off. But he came out there and we saw him for a good 9-10 seconds before he went back in the woods and just dissipated.
There's Jake. Yeah, man, I looked for you too, but I was stuck underneath the tent where they was doing all the interviewing. But it's all good. Yeah, I've got something that happened here, and maybe you guys can help us figure this one out. Okay, so last year, I'm going to say probably August, September, something like that. Still nice outside. And, you know, that time of year it gets, you know, busy. And so I might have 150 people going out just at 8 o'clock, you know, ticket holders. So after you get everybody kind of, you know, rustled up and, you know, just put where we need them to go, kind of take a break for a minute. So we walked outside and I sat down. I had two friends from Lancaster here and we're sitting on a bench right outside and we're right beside where the Lincoln statue is on the square. So we're right kind
that
of
thing
in
is freaky.
Yeah. So we're standing there or we're sitting there and it actually kind of, once everybody took off with their tours, it was actually kind of quiet for a minute. And we started hearing click, 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 click. And I honestly thought it was probably the, you know, they have a couple different wagon rides, chariot rides, stuff like that. So I thought, oh, that's probably them coming because it kind of sounded like that. Well, this guy comes around the corner and it's him walking. So must have had, I know they made boots that had, you know, for riding that had some metal on them and stuff, but this was a lot louder than usual, you know?
Yeah.
But he was a big guy, but he had like, the only way I could say he was dressed, he looked like he had a canteen on the side of him. He had haversack on another side of him. Barnes. He had like a pair of what I would say Confederate, like butternut color looking pants.
Oh yeah.
He also had like a long jacket that went down, you know, about a little bit below his waist.
Sure.
And then he had like and where I'm saying all this is because it kind of looked like two arrows in one, because then he had like a Victorian style vest. And then on top of his head, he had a top hat, just like Lincoln's, very patinaed, like cracked and, you know, worn out and stuff, you know, and, heavy set, kind of jolly, like, you know, and he's walking and he says, he walks up and looks in the window and he says, ghost. That's interesting. And that's all he said, you know, and he's walking and I'm like, this dude's energy was so weird. Like I'd never felt that kind of energy before.
Yeah.
And so myself and a couple other people were noticing him and he walks through him and I've got two big windows in the front of our store that's split by a door, you know, in the middle where you come in at. So that was open as we do in warmer weather. And he walked past that and went to walk to the other window. And one of my guides was coming out and some of my female guides, they dress up in the hoop, you know, period skirts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dresses.
I have that.
Sweet. And she was coming out of the store and he like leans in, you know, and he's like, ma'am, where did you get that at? He was like, that's beautiful. And she's like, oh, thank you. And she says, I get it. Who's your tailor? That's what it was. He said, who's your tailor? That is beautiful. She told him. down the street, the place called the Emporium. And he's like, well, thank you. I will have to stop by there. Well, she comes over, and she's one of my tour guides that gets really nervous about everything. And she's like, so then he looks in the window and he says, he turns around and he asks her, he said, so what kind of place is this? And she said, this is a history and paranormal tour. And he said, or a ghost tour. And he said, paranormal and history. He said, what an interesting concept. And he was like, thank you. And so she turns around and looks at me, and she's like worried that he's going to try to get on her tour as in for free, like follow up, and walk on. But he goes walking away. And as he's walking away, click, click, click. I mean, it's that loud, and he gets past out of my eyesight. And he just keeps walking, for a couple more seconds. We hear the click, click, and then I don't hear it. And I'm like, okay, he's sitting behind me at the other bench. So, and she's leaning down and she's like talking about him. And I'm like, I said, she's right behind us. You know what I'm saying? I was like, she's like, where?
Yeah.
I said, do what? And she was like, where? Where's he at? And I'm like, there's no way, because both places, the Lincoln Inn and then a private dwelling right beside that residence, you have to have a code to get in. The next thing would have been all the way on the block, which would have been the Blue and Gray bar restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, unless he made the turn and kept on up the Baltimore Street. So
Andy, what you actually saw was a Confederate officer with Scottish roots, because the red vest was from Irish descent or Scottish descent, and there was a unit and from North Alabama that was an all Irish unit.
I remember, I knew that. Yeah,
their officers were pretty heavy set because they were rich, so they had money.
Right.
And
he definitely had that. Yeah, he definitely had that.
Would have been consistent with their standard uniform. And since the Confederates paid for their own uniforms, officers were allowed to wear whatever they wanted to.
That's crazy. Because I was like, so yeah, it got so wild that one of us ran into Blue and Gray and asked, her sister worked there, one of the workers here. No, nobody's been in here for the last probably 10 minutes. Allie went up halfway up Baltimore Street, I think, looking, because she couldn't just concept. And there was a band playing across the square, but they were still on break when all this happened. So I walked over there and looked. I didn't see anybody. So there was no way or nowhere that this person could have went. And that was the weirdest energy that I had ever. I mean, I was like, is that a time traveler? Like, I don't know how much I invest in that yet, because I've never really studied.
Maybe it's a time slip.
Well, I can tell you this, dude. On the battlefield over by Devil's Den, I was picking up a full battle, Confederate and Union soldiers duking it out. And I could hear the rifle fire. I could hear the cannon fire. I could hear orders being yelled back and forth. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of the battle. And my buddies that were with me the same weekend that I got punched in the nose, they said I sat down on the battlefield and did not move for about 55 minutes. And as I was sitting there, dude, I was not only hearing the Confederates and the Union soldiers, I was hearing Native American soldiers fighting with each other at the same time. So I was picking different battles from different time fields.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that Gettysburg was a huge place for Native American battles.
Oh, they beat the crap out of each other, the Native Americans.
I found out, do you know why they were fighting here?
More likely it was over land or water.
You're close. It is land, but it's what's underneath of it.
What's under that? Is it granite?
Look, I got some questions.
So
Look,
Gettysburg is
yes.
one of the biggest pockets of quartz.
Yeah, that's right. It's quartz. I know
Black
it's a limestone
black
quartz under there.
black shale and quartz.
I was wondering about limestone. Yeah,
So think about it.
quartz.
Well, it has limestone, has the quartz, which limestone, there has to be quartz, there has to be limestone.
True.
But that is a big reason, if you think about it, quartz is a holder of energy.
Big time.
And then you can charge it back up and release that energy.
Always.
So is that what we're going through when we see things here?
Yes. Because I always have crystals in my pocket everywhere I go. And it helps bring, well, I don't have to bring them still closer, but it just brings a lot more.
Just think, with all this 5G now, with all the people driving, with all the people walking around, I mean, everything that emits energy, are we just charging this up, and then all of a sudden, boom, we see
Charging this up.
Something, you know, energy that was left behind by, you know, when they imprint, man. That's what I just had this conversation. It's a big imprint here of that. Yes, ma'am.
So you got a couple questions. Okay, Jake Fallon says, "Hey Andy, what's up? I looked and looked for you at Pinthurst and couldn't find you. Hope you had an awesome time. Hope all is well in general." And then he said, "I told a lot of people about you and sent them your way for when they go to Gettysburg. I need a stack of your cards." Haha. Oh,
Jake,
I need a stack of your cards
awesome
too.
People. Yeah.
Lawrence awesome. Says, "Andy's the man."
That's Lawrence. That's Mondo Docs.
I've got some questions, Lane.
He's awesome. Mondo Docs is great. If you should check it out. Yeah, he's the man.
Cool. Okay, so here's a question, and Blaine, since you have investigated so much, you guys, each one of you answer. Here we go. What is your favorite hidden haunted location that most tourists never hear about? I wonder if it's the same for you. I wish this was like a game show or something.
But if it's a hidden haunted, we're not supposed to tell it. You know what I'm saying? No, I have no problem with it. Newest one that has probably given me a lot is Granite Schoolhouse Road.
Yes.
A lot of people do not know about that. They don't, well, they probably pass it all the time, but they don't know the history behind that road. And I went out last year. You know, I'd been reading about the schoolhouse because, well, I'm learning a lot about the Spangler Farm right now. But what it derives from is I have been doing ghost stories at Artillery Ridge Campground, which is an awesome campground, by the way. If people come there,
it is.
Yeah, and especially if they're paranormal enthusiasts, because the house, the Jacob Swisher Farm, is exactly what Artillery Ridge Campground is. But the Jacob Swisher farmhouse was used as a it started out as just a let's see, it started out just as like a bruises and nicks type of place. It was actually like, what would we call it now, like when you first check in, like a nurse's station, whatever. Triage, thank you. And but then as things went on, Alexis that just came on, she is the one that I said from Lancaster. I had friends. She was the one, her and her husband were the ones that were sitting beside me. And so I was telling stories out there, ghost stories at the campground to kind of promote us, and went out. And I started, she gave my number, the woman at the campground that I do this for, she gave my number out to a Boy Scout troop that wanted me to come out. And the guy calls me up and he's like, "I want you to scare the out of these guys, these boys." And I said, "Okay." So I got out. If you don't know what Elliot's map is, You ever heard of that?
I do.
Blaine?
I know what
Yeah.
that is.
So Elliot's map, it shows you all the burial grounds and stuff where everybody, just show that gives you a whole new look at the battle, like how crazy it was, because you then see where people were buried at and stuff like that, because Mr. Elliott was brought in by Lincoln to actually write down. He was helping out with the property damage assessments, and that's what he was supposed to write down. When he started writing down which was big time. If it wouldn't have been for him, they would have never known where to get the guys, to bring them back up and put them in the soldier cemetery.
Yeah.
And there was 17 Confederates buried throughout the campground, and then like another 20 Union.
Mm-hmm.
That sets right up against Spangler Farm, which was still to this day, I would say it's the biggest one. People try to say that Camp Letterman was, which is now a couple hotels, a giant food, and something like that, unfortunately. But the thing is, they took people to Camp Letterman after they had surgery and stuff at Spangler's, and then recovered like a day or two. Then they would be moved to Letterman. So yeah, Letterman would have been the biggest one because it had all the people from everywhere else.
Yep, sure did.
Little bitty schoolhouse that sat on the road that would have been used to go back to Spangler's Farm to take soldiers, which was Granite Schoolhouse Road. And it had a little schoolhouse that they started to put people in there. Obviously, it didn't last very long. They were out of room, kind of made a tent city around it. And then they moved on to Spangler's Farm with people. But that's also the road that they used to shuttle in any kind of backup for Pickett's charge for the Union. That's also where the New York Brigade was, waiting with another couple hundred cannons ready to roll out if they needed to. So that road was used for all of that. And we went out there, a friend of mine from here at work, her and I went out there, and I have never had in one spot that much activity that was like, okay. I mean, we had horses running past us on the road, and there's no horses back there. And I'll tell you how adamant I got. The campground, so Amanda that works there, they also house horses. They also have horse stalls there at Artillery Ridge, but that's a little bit of, that's like a mile away, This was right beside us on the road. So I actually called her and I said, do you know of anybody to have a horse farm back here? Because we were hearing neighing, the whole everything. And she's like, well, I can go on and look because people have to register when they have it, blah, blah, blah. She was like, so she said, I'll let you know. And like an hour later, she calls me and she's like, no, there's nobody but us out this way. And then a couple miles down the road. And I was like, we're at a couple miles. She's like, oh, it's opposite direction where you're asking about. And I'm like, okay, thanks. I mean, but we heard that. One night we were out there, we heard a volley of musket fire at like 12:30 at night. And there's no way somebody was out there doing any kind of, anything like that. And it's like, but more and more things each time we go out happen. It is part of the park. It is part of the park. But if you're on the main road, you can actually just park off to the side of the road, but don't get out and like go into the woods or anything like that, because then you are crossing into where you shouldn't be after dark.
Yep.
But they got a statue and a couple cannons there. And you'll see them, and the schoolhouse set kind of 10 o'clock across the road from that. Mm-hmm. So, but that is the one that we have been to. I've gotten full loud EVPs of like.
Yeah, that was a question for you. Let me throw it up there since you're talking about it. I was gonna, okay, go ahead. I'll find it, and if I throw it up there after, I'll delete it.
No, I'm just saying that's
ahead,
places. So that's really one place that I want to check out more. It was pretty cold when we were going out there last year, so we didn't like thoroughly get down on it. But I would like to find out, because I'm sure there's a lot of that had to be a lot of death through there, a lot of a lot of things, and everything's about respect when you go to do this. I don't care if we're here, if we're here or we're at Pennhurst or we're at wherever.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to be. And I've noticed, out of all the years, I've been doing this 38 years, and over the years I've tried every way of doing it, and I never thought about just sitting down and being normal, and trying to talk to them. And I started, actually it was at Pennhurst about 4 years ago. I said, you know what, I'm going to try this. And I sat down and laid down a couple of
I'm setting my flashlight, excuse me.
I just laid down all kinds of instruments, stuff, equipment that I use and stuff. And some people some of them may have seen that when I was on there. But I was in Quaker Building, which is known to be like, supposedly a pretty heavy, like nasty people were held in there. And I started telling them, I said, I want you guys to know, if you did pass away because of the way you were treated here, that you didn't die in vain. Or the ones that left here that may still be with us, your energy's here, and you didn't live here and go through that, for no reason at all, because now they have new laws to protect certain things like this and people like you. And man, stuff started like just a little bit at a time, and then it got to a point it was like going off, and like, I mean, almost. And I had a friend of mine, he was outside on the sidewalk. He came in after done with a phone call, and he couldn't believe it, and he sat there and did the same thing. And
wow.
Ever since then, I've always just been straight up. I've always respected places, don't get me wrong. I just hope that we have some of these places,
I know.
In the future. I mean, Pennhurst is fighting, and I think.
I got a question.
What's that?
Oh, really? I got a question for you. I didn't know Pennhurst was, yes, I did. I had read about what it was going through. Yeah, about fighting.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Opened in that way.
Well, somebody's trying to buy it. It's going to be a data center is trying to buy the property, and they would knock down, they would knock down everything. Yeah, I know. We were talking about that this weekend. We're like, can you imagine a data center charging up to, think about the charge that they would use to have this data going out, and what they would charge up with the, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like some Ghostbusters crap, man. Stuff coming out of the ground, And
oh my God, that's too funny, y'all. That's funny.
Yeah, they got
here's a question.
400 people out there protesting, which was awesome the other day. The locals avoid certain places after dark.
Good.
And
I don't mean because of crime. I mean because it's spooky.
Yeah. I would say, to be completely honest, I think more people stay away from certain places after dark out of respect than they do probably scared.
Good.
I really do.
Okay, Blaine. Andy, here we go, guys. This is a big question. If listeners on this show could experience only one paranormal moment that you've had in Gettysburg, what would you want them to witness to truly understand why this town has earned its haunted reputation?
Ooh.
That's a hard one, but I think it's going to be an interesting response.
Well, for one thing, I would say maybe not as much as a paranormal moment as it would be to pick up Elliot's map and look at it. And once you see where they're all buried at, and all across town and people's backyards, out here in the square, I mean, just
Oh
about
my God.
anywhere they've shoved bodies, that would probably give you a pretty good idea that if this place isn't haunted, you know what I'm saying, what would be.
Yeah.
But I would say probably if you went to a site of one of the probably hospitals and probably really, really took time to sit there and let everything settle and maybe do EVP work or something, and to hear, because Spanglers, even though I've been out there a few times at night, we're only allowed to get, I finally got permission to go a little bit closer. So we are about where they buried the Confederates at. And that's as close as I get to the barn.
Wow.
But I brought out my old Squatch and, this bad boy. Yeah. And
Oh yeah.
I pulled that out and stuck the headphones on, and I was hearing moaning and just like, and I actually got really upset, handed it to the person that was with me and let her listen. And she was taken by it as well, and the burial mounds. But, ooh, there you go. Thank you, Christy. Actually, I would say, what is that out there by Iverson's Pits? What's the name of that? Bed and breakfast. Is that the, oh my gosh, Andy. Anyway, Iverson's Pits. That's where they buried about 500 Confederate soldiers that got shot by one volley of shots. I almost said do drop in.
You drop in.
But
yeah,
a lot of people that go there and stay at that bed and breakfast, they are right across the street from it, right across the road. And they're pretty much in the woods of where, the Union was kind of stationed at the first couple hours of the battle, to be honest. And many people have came in and said they hear moaning, crying for help.
I've heard that.
And you're imagining 500 people, not just 2 or 3 here. You're hearing dozens of moans, cries, whimpering, stuff like that. That would probably, that would probably do it. I mean, I would think that if somebody heard that,
It's scary.
That paranormal experience, I mean, it could be any of them. It all depends on the individual, what strikes them, I'm sure. Because you can hear
you, Blaine? What do you think?
Me,
the same?
It was, well, what he was just talking about, hearing the moaning and the crying. I've actually had my hand grabbed and had spirits hold my hand while they were passing, because they kept reliving that over and over again. And it's like I had one grab my hand and I heard him say, "Please help us." I was like, oh shit.
Oh my God.
And I asked him, I said, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "Do you want me to make it where you can cross, but you can still come back?" And so I ended up crossing probably about 50 Confederate soldiers that day. They could still come back, but all their pain and suffering was finally over with.
Well, so many of them died so fast.
I know.
It's like, I was trying to tell somebody the other day, we were talking about, I said, I wonder if they would ever if they took, and when somebody passed like that, hits the ground, everything was sky high, their blood pressure, their fear, their anxiety, their, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And they fall, and it's not like they fell and then laid there and suffered, or just, I'm saying exactly just boom and done. What would you have done if you would have rolled them out of the way and took a big sample of the soil underneath them? If that would be different.
Yeah.
That's it's just something,
Yeah, that's
we've
a crazy
thought about,
thought. That's a crazy
it
thought.
would change the that about, that, but it's like, continuum. There's supposedly
Yeah.
a lot of that around here.
Yeah.
The adrenaline, Christy says the adrenaline, that's exactly what I'm saying, is like all that just bam and imprinting the ground that they're laying on. Would that change the compensation of that?
It has to.
I mean, you would think that it would have to. I mean, I was reading the other night, I like picking up some of the things, the diaries, of some of the people that were here, or I guess they would call them journals for guys. And there was a guy that was on the Confederate side, and he was walking from what we would say now from probably around the Lee statue on Pickett's Charge. His job was to go around and make sure that there was nobody laying out there still alive, Now you got to think this is before they even picked the first body up off the ground of dead, Nighttime, it rained like it did. So imagine after it rains and then it's starting to kind of thunder, lightning, and, more kind of around the area at night. So you got that cool wind blowing and stuff like that. And his job is to go check. So he goes walking, around, and he's making his way towards, the other side. And he said his candle blew out. So the only light that he had to see the dead was the lightning. When it would strike, he could only look out across all these bodies, and he would wait.
Oh my God.
He would wait until it did again, look in front of him, take a couple steps, and then it would do it again, and he wouldn't walk. He would just look around him. And I was like, God, I couldn't understand. I couldn't even imagine, you know what I'm saying?
I couldn't imagine.
And then he said, once he got, to the road from that point on, he said, once I got to the gravel, I could feel it under my feet. He said, after that, you couldn't walk unless you were stepping on top of somebody.
Yeah, of course.
Up to the wall,
Oh my God, y'all. Oh.
Yeah. So it's like, I just, you think about that, and it's just, I mean, look what it's doing to us just thinking about it here. Imagine seeing it and being there,
I had a flash when I was at the Gettysburg Battlefield bed and breakfast. There's a big barn there, and they had to punch holes in the floor so the the blood would drain out. That's common, sickening, but still common. And I saw a little girl running back and forth from the main house to that garage, well, not garage, but barn, huge barn, back and forth. And she had on this cute little dress, kind of like a Alice in Wonderland kind of deal. It was that length, and had the little apron. And when she came out, her shoes were bloody, and then she came back out again. Then her ankles were bloody, like the blood was going up and up and up. And she kept wiping her hands on her apron, and the look on that child's face.
Oh, I'm sure, because
I just stood there with my mouth open.
Yeah, they made, I don't want to tell a whole lot of our tour, but
No, don't do that.
We talk about.
You have a question.
Oh, yeah, I just had my.
Why don't specters see what we see?
They do, Christy.
I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. I just think that maybe their processing of it is different from ours, just because they're in a different, we could call it whatever we want to call it. I mean, some people try to say that
They're in
I
a
mean, they're
different
just
dimension. So what they see is
exactly
different. I
that's
mean, what do we look like? Just our energy. Blake's
right.
told me what I look like, and
Mhm.
I can tell him what he looks like. But
And
what
you know,
do they see? I think that's
right.
crazy. And Ash Davis says hello to you.
Hi there. Yeah, I mean, it's
We've got a
like,
lot of people watching tonight. You're a popular guy.
I appreciate it. They're probably like, let's see
We're so
this.
happy to have you.
Um, my ex-wife, God
Let me see
bless
if
her, she's
let me see
gone.
if I have any more
Um,
questions.
she her and I talked about that before her passing, and she's like, do you think we'll be able to see each other, like, how they say we'll look younger and all that stuff when we're on the other side? And I was like, no, what I think we're going to know is each other's energy.
Yeah.
I said, I think that's how we're going to know. And she's like, well, how do you
I
think
think
that'll
that's
look?
what
And yeah.
I prescribe to that.
And she said, well, what do you think? Well, I can tell you, I had an experience at a house in
Okay.
Virginia one time that it looked like, you remember the old Star Trek Beam Me Up Scotty?
Yep.
Where it's all the molecules by the time they
Oh
got done.
yeah.
That's exactly what this thing did in front of me. It
Yep.
was a woman. Well, we know who it was. And then she went right back and gone. And I'm like, that was crazy.
Well, Andy, when my dad passed, he came and saw me. He says, "Where's all these damn people you told me that? All I see is these damn lights." I said, "Dad, that's them. It's energy." Oh, and then once he realized that, he started seeing his mom, his dad, actually, form where he could realize what they were. So I got tickled with my dad. Where's all these damn people supposed to be? All I see is these damn lights. My dad had me crying when he passed. He came to Lee more than he did me.
Well,
Yeah,
he wanted to make you laugh. He wanted to make you laugh. So
yeah.
it was all because he loves you. That needs a
Oh,
flirt like you. You
I
needs a
learned it from
flirt.
the best.
Oh, I got a good question.
Oh,
Okay. Blaine, you got to ask him if you feel like asking because I
Yeah,
know
if you
I
pull it
can
up,
hear
I'll
your
ask.
throats gurgling.
I'm all right.
Wait,
I didn't do it.
I had it.
I ain't touching nothing. So
Nope. Here.
Out of all the paranormal experiences you've witnessed during your tours, which encounter still gives you chills when you talk about it today?
so I don't give tours. I'm the manager, but I walk a lot of them. Okay. And I'm going to say I had a tour guide here.
Now don't give too much away.
No,
You know what I
she's,
mean?
I have a tour guide here. She does my adult tours. She's still with me. And, she had been off for about 2.5, 3 weeks for surgery. And we go by what was a schoolhouse that obviously became, a place for a hospital during the battle. And then they brought the kids back to do some work after the battle. We'll leave it at that. So a guy on the tour she was given, as I'm walking behind them, he has an SB7 spirit box, and we're all standing there, and he's trying to ask and stuff. Well, this was her first tour back, and all of a sudden across that, everything stopped, all the white noise, everything just went blank for him to even look at it, to think that it had broken. And it said, hey, look, she's back. Oh, look, she's back. That's what it was. Oh,
look, she's back. Dude, I got asked. I had not been up there like in a couple of weeks. And I get up and hear the spirit goes, where the F is Blaine been?
That's crazy.
Right over the old shack hacks.
Yeah, I got
where the F is Blaine?
I've got a
I love those things.
oh yeah, so Alexis is
Oh,
talking
here's another
about
one.
yeah, I remember that one too,
Here we
Alexis.
go. Okay, she's saying,
That's the one I was just ready to say.
tell them about the time at the campground with a little boy spirit, or up in the attic at Knoxland Ridge. Oh, that sounds like a
Yeah,
good one.
so
Oh, was that more
so
people?
the same people that own the Artillery Ridge on Gettysburg campground as well. So I go back and forth with the ghost stories, you know. We're sitting around a big fire there, big community fire, and all of a sudden they're taking pictures from up above, like the bathhouse has a second floor, and they're like,
taking
I guess
pictures
it
in the
has.
bathhouse.
Well, they were taking pictures.
I'm playing.
Yeah, I'll send them to you later. But they
That's
took
funny.
a picture off a deck that was overlooking where I was telling them at, and they took 2 pictures. One, there's nobody. The second one, there's a big green ball of energy looking, and there's a little kid, like, just appearing like he's, I don't know, running or something, but it definitely was not there the first picture, and these were
Lane,
back
you
to
got to
back.
tell him.
And then
Tell him.
yeah, in the attic in Knoxland Ridge, that was kind of crazy, but that's a house that we do investigations at, that would take people from here.
Andy, right
What's
when
up?
you said something about a child spirit, a male child said, "Who, me?" Y'all didn't hear him? Who, me?
We
He
have
knows you're
EDPs
talking about
show
it.
all the time. He does.
Well, probably here. Who knows? Because my office has been the hot spot for freaking something, you know, well, the whole freaking store. But here, and you guys know Ernie Atwell, or I know Lee does. You know Ernie. He was here He was here one day talking to me, and he was doing he had his book. He was doing a book signing, and he's like talking to me, and he says, "Whoa, who's in your office?" And I said, "We don't know his name yet." I said, "Maybe you can go in." And he's like, "Oh, not what that look like." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." But yeah,
you want to know his name?
What, the one in here? I think I do already. So,
well, he's telling me his name is Harold.
That's crazy, because that's what I was getting ready to say. I think he is from upstairs.
Blake, you did it again.
I think he is from upstairs, man. I think he's from upstairs.
You are killing it.
I think he's from upstairs, because we're right underneath. Well, we rent our storefront off of the Masons, Freemasons.
Sure.
And I think he was a Freemason.
He was.
Yeah, because they see him. I have people that will call me at like 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, because we are a tour company. So obviously we open up a little bit later, and then we're open late. And they'll say, "Is anybody in there?" And I'll say, "No, why?" "There's somebody in a top hat standing in the front window, you know." And so at first I was like, you know, but then, like, I don't know, 2 days later, somebody different called and said, "There's a guy standing in the front window with you know." That's right. Alexis remembers that.
You know what makes me laugh before I saw that? I heard Harold go, "It's stinky."
Yeah, he has said that. He has said that a couple times in here. Or a couple times every time we go to use a box in here or something. I get Annie a lot out at the front counter.
That's his wife.
Well, actually, I think Annie is either Annie from next door from the Lincoln Inn. She passed away, or it's Annie. So we're attached to the David Will's house.
Okay.
And there used to be a hole in the wall from this store. This was a like 5 and dime store.
Yes.
And that was a pharmacy next door. And the woman, there's an Annie that started. She was the first hospital for people here, not soldiers, but for the locals. And so she did the house calls.
Did she die of something with her chest? Do you know how she died?
Annie, yeah, heart attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Annie did. Yeah.
Okay.
But she started the first.
Harold classified himself. He said, "I wanted her to be my wife." That's why I heard wife first. He wanted Annie to be
she's a nurse.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
That's very possible. But
So
yeah.
cool. Well, we are at the 9 o'clock mark. As much as I hate it, because I would love to
I
have you
know.
back.
Good stuff.
I have had people messaging me saying, you've got to have a longer show because it's just not enough. So
Mhm.
once again, Steve, thank you for sending me that and your friends sending me that. I realize, but we'll have Andy back again.
Oh,
He's good
Yes,
definitely.
please,
people.
anytime.
We
Would
love
love
him
it.
we love him to pieces. Um, Blaine is going to be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, the New
Sweet.
Orleans Paracon, Deep South Paracon, and MassCon. And the dates are there. And I'm on
Oh,
here
there's
somewhere.
Orleans
There
Paracon.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm there too. And Gwen will be going a lot of different places. She's not here tonight, remember, because she had surgery and she's, getting it together to go to the doctor tomorrow, and it hurts to move around. She
Oh
had
yeah.
shoulder
Ooh,
surgery.
So y'all send Gwen, Rez, and Shane McLean. Send them all healing because all of them are coming off of something. Send them healing and prayers. And before we go, Lee, I got to say it. You guys had 1,000 choices of what you chose for your entertainment tonight. You
Let me
chose
pop
us.
it up
Thank
for
you.
you.
Pop it up for me.
that's right.
I'm
That's
getting
right.
there. You're going faster than me.
Okay. Yeah, you had a million things to
There we
watch.
go.
Thank you
Yes.
for being with us. We appreciate it more than you ever know. And
Yes.
we hope
Yes, we
we
do.
entertained you tonight. We hope we informed you, and we hope you enthralled and want to come back. Because Andy, you've been awesome, brother.
Awesome. Yeah.
I
Pleasure
know
to
it.
meet
We'll
It's
see
been
you
a
in July, man.
blast.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward
So,
to it.
Oh, and I
and
gotta
I'm
go.
popping it up.
I
Here you
gotta
go.
say this about. I gotta say. Go ahead. I gotta say this about the Lincoln statue real quick. My father-in-law's from Illinois. Great spirit rest his soul.
Thought it was somebody.
No. I laugh every time I would go to Gettysburg because my father-in-law hated Lincoln because he said he was from goddamn Kentucky. He wasn't from Illinois. Why did they put him everywhere in Illinois? My father-in-law hated it.
That's truth.
So every time I'd see that Lincoln statue, I'd tell him how much my father-in-law hated him. And then the eyes of Lincoln statue would follow me everywhere I went.
That's what creeped you out, huh?
No, it didn't creep me out. I'm just looking at him like, I don't like you either.
Well, you should come during Christmas when they have the dress as your favorite Christmas character, and all the kids from college
Oh,
come up and they get drunk, and there's like 50 drunken Santas out here,
Oh,
and
God.
then you got all the little cute girls in their elves costume and stuff like that, and they're all fucking hanging off of
It's all right.
Lincoln statue.
Lincoln. Yeah, I said he's getting accosted, man. Like, and we were laughing about that last year because like they had poor Lincoln. I said he's probably blushing. If you go over there and look, he's like, but that's
That's
creepy.
so cool. So please find Andy Andrews and the Ghost Tours. What's the name of your tour?
We are
It
Ghost
has slipped my
City
mind.
Tours. We're Ghost City Tours, and you can just look us up on ghostcitytours.com, and that'll show you
That's
every
right.
place that we
Ghost
have.
Right on.
City Tours.
Yeah, we got 38 locations now. But what's cool about it is that
Wow.
we love everybody that's it's all about the local. It's not about national or nothing like that. I can tell you that, Tim, the owner, not about the money with him. It's about keeping the history alive. And that's exactly what we want to do.
That's what I love, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Any
matter.
place
There's
that I
one.
can go this historically haunted, I'm happy as hell because I've got history.
Living
I've got
history.
two masters in history.
Yep.
I've got one from University of Alabama, U.S. history, and I got one from the Air Force that they just gave me for military history. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, because people get bent thinking because you got a big bunch of, it's not what they think. We have 2 stores in all 38 locations, 2 stores here in New Orleans, and the rest is like meet your guide.
And what I love to do is like I had a buddy of mine that used to do guided tours up there named Rodney, and we were going by the Jeannie Wade house. And he tried to tell me, well, Jeannie Wade was in there cooking for soldiers. No, she was cooking for her nieces and nephews. And Jeannie Wade lived across the street. She never lived in that house that she got shot in.
That was George's house.
Yeah, and I corrected him.
It's a rental.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, you need to tell people the correct history on this.
Well, nobody knows that was a split house. There was two different families living in it.
It sure was.
Yeah, that's like, I can't even imagine that small, but it was, Yeah, her mom and them, they lived down here on Breckenridge, which was all the way back here on Baltimore Street,
Uh-huh.
That's what they left down here to get there, thinking they'd be out. Well, they went to help her sister just had a baby. So, she was, they went to help her because she was bedridden. What's that? I'm sorry.
Oh, we don't have to have him back. We're going to have Andy back. This is fascinating.
Oh, definitely.
But we do have.
I got you.
We have one more announcement.
You want me to do it?
Please.
If you are a soldier, airman, Marine, sailor, Coast Guard, or any service or veteran, and you have suicidal thoughts, and this not only represents veterans and soldiers and sailors and Marines, it all represents normal, everyday people. If you have suicidal thoughts, call 988. It's free. It's confidential. And if you don't want to talk on the phone with somebody, they have supportive counselors that will chat with you 24 hours a day. Or you can call myself, Lee, Gwen, her husband, Matt, and we will be more than happy to talk to you and talk you down.
Absolutely. Me too.
Saying the same thing.
Yeah, sorry, Andy. I should have included you, brother.
I was going to say,
well,
absolutely.
You couldn't see him. The poster was up. All right. And tomorrow night is Crypt Encounters online class. We're going to be talking about the class. Tomorrow's the 19th, and the class starts on the 20th. So we will be featuring information about the class. And let's see. Hold on. We do want to hear your stories, guys. Andy, you're going to have to tell us your cryptid story.
I was with old Wild Bill this weekend.
Oh, really?
Off the Mountain Monsters. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Well,
him and Buck, they were both there.
Here's a little more about the class. We'll have an overview and then the format in week 1, Wednesday, Thursday, week 2, Wednesday, Thursday. Cool. And then what you'll discover, we're going to be uncovering CIA declassified documents. We'll be using the newest releases from from Congress.gov. And if you're ready to join us, go to Eventbrite and search for the class. I've also got an event on Facebook set up. You can join there, but it's going to be a 2-week class, 4 total classes, 2 hours each, Wednesday and Thursday. We'd like to come do a book signing at your place too when we come. Hey, sweetheart.
Hey. Walk in these doors, you'll see my face.
Levi.
He's a pub crawl guy.
Walking around the store. Yeah, I mean, we have a decent store here, as you see.
Yeah, you do. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I was going to run out to the Lincoln statue, but I can't run, so.
Dude, if you ever see me run, it means I ran out of bullets, brother.
That's exactly right. I told somebody that if you see me run, you better turn around and follow me.
For real?
Yeah, if you're running, I'm running.
If you're running, I'm running. That would be a good.
Dude, I'm running. If you're running at me, I'm running towards you. Past you.
If I'm running, you're running. That'd be a good one. Should put right before. I'm a paranormal investigator, so if you see me running, you better follow. Better follow, something like that. We'll figure that one out.
I'm running past you.
Copyright the idea. Jump in on it.
We're going to have a good time. We need to spend some time together. We'll be looking for you before the Gettysburg Dash. And about time to close it. You guys have a great night. Join us tomorrow. Cryptid Nation. Have a great night.
See ya.